See, just let's go out. So let's dance now. It is my turn. Just won't work you out. I am ready for your action. Just won't work you out. You should cut off all distraction. It's all on you now. And just give me some reaction. Just won't work you out.
Good afternoon and welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Isabella Akinsheye. We're going to kick off the show with our newspaper review where we look at the headlines from the past week. To discuss with me, I have a social commentator by the name of Fola Daniel. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you.
A lot of stories have made the news. I mean, the president returned, and I think the big one was rodents forced President Muhammadu Buhari to work from home. What does this say about the seriousness of this government?
Well, it was quite funny, but I would have said maybe they came to welcome the president as well. You know, just like we all were.
You're saying the rodents were part of the people organized
people trooped to the streets to welcome him. So maybe the rodents just came to say, Augusta, welcome. We also came to say welcome. But really, talking about the seriousness of the government, I think it's something that shouldn't have been mentioned. It's a great error on the part of the media strategists and the people handling the communication of the president or the presidency as a whole. That should never have come out. Even if it was true, even if that happened, it should never get into the media. There's nothing wrong with the president working from home. It's the presidency, that's where he lives, and he can work from any part of that office. But you should never tell us the reason he now works from home was because rodents came into the office. That's unbelievable.
But now that they've issued that statement, do you feel that they're going to come back and give us the details of a possible fumigation, tell us, okay, now that the rodent issue has been taken care of, the president is going to return to his office? Or do you think another story is going to come out, another excuse is going to be given?
I think they're just going to let it sleep because people are already asking questions. How did this happen? How did rodents get into the office? What about the budget that has provision for fumigation and stuff like that? So they already know it's an error, so I think they're just going to let us sleep. And I've seen a couple of events where the president was, you know, handling some executive meetings, and I've seen it, and I thought some of those meetings were held in his office. So they're just going to let it sleep, and they're not going to say anything about it. Else, they make it worse.
Okay, because they've been coming out with different statements. There's a time they said the president is allowed to travel anytime he wants. He can receive medical attention from anywhere. Do you see this as a trend that they will always sometimes give us sensational news?
It could have been, again, as I said, handled differently. There's nothing, we all know that there's nothing wrong with the president traveling. But when you come out and tell Nigerians, oh, the president can travel whenever he wants, you're simply giving us the impression that he can do whatever he wills, and it doesn't matter what the people think. But that's not how it should be handled. For example, even if the president doesn't want to travel, there will always be international engagements, and he has to be a part of them. And the reason he has to be a part of them is because of our own. It's for our own good, really. For example, if the president chooses not to travel or be a part of some of those international engagements, Nigerians will have issues when we travel. Some of our treaties with other countries, some of our treaties with, for example, the Dubai, UAE, now we have an arrangement such that people who have stolen funds, the funds can be repatriated. But if he doesn't travel, if he doesn't meet people and do that kind of a thing, we won't have that arrangement. If he doesn't go to UK or go to US, we won't have a situation where Nigerians can enjoy some more facilities in those other countries. So it's just important for him to do that. So yes,
those international trips are justified according to what you're saying. But with the return of President Muhammadu Buhari, Kogi State organized or declared a public holiday on Monday for the safe return. Do you think it was the wise thing to do? Is that the kind of public holidays we should be having?
Wise? I don't know about that. Hilarious? Yes. I'm one for, we need to jack up the things that we're doing in this country. For example, I had someone who came in from Canada a few years back, and I was with him for the time that he was in Nigeria, and he was shocked that banks were not working on Sundays. And I said to him, look, we have to wait till Monday. And he said, really? He said, oh, I forgot this is Nigeria. So employers are losing money. I can't imagine how much employers in Kogi State, and I'm not talking about government employees now, I can't imagine how much employers have lost in that day. So it was just simply a waste of time, and it's unproductive to just decide. As much as we're happy that the president is back, it was absolutely unproductive to just declare public holiday just to show your solidarity.
I mean, and Kogi State is one of the poorer states in Nigeria. I mean, what does this have to say again? Because they're appointing more special aides, I mean, to the governor. He now has 67 aides. And then they're declaring a public holiday. So what's the economic sense behind all of this?
The first challenge is the fact that politics in Nigeria is more of rewards than it is of service. And when politics is more about rewards than it is about service, we get a situation where there is an entitlement mentality on the part of the people, and the governor sees himself as somebody who is obligated to put people in positions for the time that he's going to spend in the office. There are people who probably have worked with him to get into that office. They've helped him in strategizing one way or the other. So it's that obligation that he feels to them that makes him keep exploring the limits of the law to reward the people. Now, I was speaking with somebody yesterday. We had people who served this country over 50 years ago. Let's look at when we were just regions, when there was no federation. There were just the southern region, and then the western region, the northern region. We had the likes of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who built roads that we're still using till date. He built the first television station in Nigeria, I mean in Africa, that still exists today. He built 25-story building that we can still see today. The politicians of today, what exactly are they doing? They build roads that don't even last 6 months. So the point I'm trying to make is people are more about what I'm going to do for my people, what I'm going to get out of it, much more than they're concerned about, let's have a plan for 25 years, let's have a plan to grow Nigeria, to make Nigeria a better nation, a developed economy, or a smart city, building smart cities here and there. People are more about interest and rewards for the people right now.
So these 67 aides, do you see their results? Can we say Kogi State is working as a result of this much help that the governor is receiving?
I haven't heard much from that state, and I don't think much is happening. They're still dependent so much on the allocation from the federal government. And the question is, the ones he has had so far, what have they achieved? What exactly is he doing that requires getting additional 67 aides? How many ministers does the president even have? He barely has 40 ministers. So why does a state governor need 67 aides outside his proper cabinet, which includes the commissioners for all the ministries, the DGs for all the parastatals, the PAMSECs? One of the things, we need to be smarter. And it's
interesting because that's one of the poorer states. So you're wondering where's the money to pay all these people? But